Huda Beauty is apparently releasing their last big eyeshadow palette. Shocker, Patrick Ta seems to have totally lost the plot, and ABH is apparently not doing that hot anymore. Welcome to this week's new makeup releases, where I chat about the new makeup that's been released, announced, and sneak peeked. I also give you some industry news if I have them, and we have some discussions down in the comments, you letting me know what you feel about these things. And remember, friends do not always agree about everything, but friends are always kind and respectful. It's all just colored powder at the end of the day. There's no need to be fighting in the comments with strangers over sparkly powders. But before we jump into all the news, let's hear from this video's sponsor. I'm super excited to let you know that today's video is sponsored by Factor. Factor is a meal delivery service that delivers meals straight to your doorstep that are fresh, never frozen. You put them in the fridge and they're ready to eat with 2 minutes in the microwave. Factor is the perfect option if you, like me, sometimes just have a fully packed schedule and you just do not have the time or energy to cook something fully from scratch, but you want to get a wholesome meal anyways. You don't want to rely on takeout. You just don't want to go out and eat at restaurants. With Factor, you get 35 different dietitian approved meals to choose from every week. Again, they are delivered to your doorstep and you can just pop them in the microwave for 2 minutes when you want to get lunch or dinner, when you just really do not have time, again, to cook something from scratch and you don't want to rely on takeout or an unhealthy option. And with those 35 options, they change from week to week so that you never get tired of the food and you always get something fun to choose from. And they have different options like calorie smart, keto, or maybe you're like me and you try to eat mostly vegetarian or vegan. They do have options for that as well. Factor is more than lunch and dinner as well. They have more than 60 plus add-ons where you can add on smoothies or juices, breakfast options, stuff that is a great snack or a great breakfast, something to keep in the fridge. Again, when you would just want to get a little bit extra fuel, but you don't want to lean on something that might be unhealthy for you or, again, takeout. And these meals are not just convenient or great for you to keep in the fridge to have something to eat when you're busy. They're also chef curated, tasty meals so that it goes beyond just filling your stomach, but it's also enjoyable to eat. Factor is also owned by HelloFresh, and you do know that I have my own subscription with HelloFresh and I do work with HelloFresh. And I think the combination between Factor and HelloFresh is just perfect for someone like me and my husband that just work really long hours and sometimes are a little bit lazy, but we also love cooking together, but maybe not every day. So sometimes we can cook together from scratch with HelloFresh without having gone to the grocery store. Again, going to the grocery store is one of my least favorite adult things to do. And sometimes we can just kick back in the couch and just have some Factor together and watch a movie instead of standing there and cooking. Just depends on what day it is, how busy we've been, what kind of energy level we are at. And also, again, the juices and smoothies are absolutely amazing. It's one of my favorite breakfasts to have. So if you're interested in checking out Factor and seeing what they have to offer, head over to factor75.com or click the link down below and use code Angelica50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. That's code Angelica50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month of orders. And if nothing else, head over to Factor and just check out all of the different options that they have. The menu, like I said, there are so many things to choose from and so many tasty things. It's like ordering from a menu, but then you can just conveniently take it out of the fridge, pop it into the microwave when you're hungry instead of having to leave the house, which for me is just the best of both worlds. So thank you again so much, Factor, for sponsoring this video. Let's get on with the makeup news. I did film this look actually. I filmed it with the Divination palette, Robert Welch and Blend Bunny Cosmetics. Really love this look. I am gearing up to do another one of those several indie palettes, several looks. I don't know exactly when that one is coming though, but keep your eyes open. That one is coming real soon, but I am wearing that palette. I am wearing the green gloss and I'm wearing the lashes too. Oh, and the dress is from Selkie. I don't know if it's still available, but I'll see if I can link it. I also wanted to quickly let you know that I am having a live chat with my members tonight. We're having like an after work live chat. All the information is going to be in the community tab. And if you are a member on my channel, tier 2 or tier 3, you'll be able to see that post and join in on the Zoom chat where we can chat about what's been going on as of late. Maybe about my travels, maybe about the Sephora sale that's upcoming starting November 1st. Just chatting about life, honestly. It's always a good time. If you want to join in, you can read all about my membership down in the description box or in the button next to the subscription button down below. So I just wanted to let you know about that as well, in case you wanted to join in. Let's start talking about the new Icy Nude collection by Huda Beauty. We did talk about this last week, but now it has been officially announced, and I think it is actually releasing today, the 25th at Sephora. I think you could pre-buy it at the Huda Beauty website, but I myself, I am going to be picking this one up. Oh, I didn't scoochie. Sorry. Let me scoochie. so big. There we go. Now we can put up the picture. The new Icy Nude collection by Huda Beauty. Like I said, I'm going to be picking this one up. I've been trying to make a point in reviewing a mix, not just indie and not just drugstore and not just like high-end. I'm trying to review all the things that I find intriguing or interesting, or brands that I truly enjoy, like Huda Beauty. And this is a full collection. It is glosses. I didn't love the glosses from Huda Beauty, so I will not be picking those up. There's a palette, and I really want to try that one. I think this seems to be almost like a version of the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude, but with some pastels in there. And I actually think that I Need a Nude is... that one and Bronze are probably my favorite neutral palettes from Natasha Denona, just like thinking back on them. Then there's a highlighter. It's one of those jelly ones with pigments in them. Same there. I'm not going to be picking it up. There's also 2 new colors of the liquid blushes. And here I will be picking up the lighter one. I'm actually wearing those blushes today. That's what you see on my cheeks, together with the Fenty highlighter in Yum Rum. Absolutely love those, and I really like this formula from Huda Beauty. I think it is a nice liquid formula. It is pigmented, but not too pigmented. There is a little sheen to it without it being like glossy or dewy or sticky, and I think it's easy to blend and just dries down, but not too quickly. I think it's a really nice formula. I really enjoy it, and I will definitely be picking up the lighter shade. I don't think the darker shade is meant for me, which is perfectly fine, but I'm excited to have this in one more color. So the big palette is $69, which is the same price as the Natasha Denona midi palette. I'm excited to be trying this one out. I've only tried one of the big Huda Beauty palettes, which was that smoky one that she had last year. I thought the quality was really nice, but I didn't love the color story, but I thought it was nice quality. So far, I'm still myself preferring Natasha Denona over Huda Beauty, but I'm excited to try this one out and see how I feel about it, because this is a color story that's neutrals that I like, depending on how those taupes look, because I like a taupe that still looks like a brown on my eyes. So it depends on if they're gonna look gray on me or not, because I personally don't love grays on me. They're fine, they're just not my favorite. I can't believe I got myself so distracted, so I forgot to talk about the very thing that we wanted to talk about, which is that Huda herself said on her Instagram that this is going to be the brand's very last big eyeshadow palette ever. She was talking about the fact that the brand started out with big eyeshadow palettes. She was making some kind of a vague claim that they changed the beauty industry. I don't know necessarily if it was like the Huda Beauty palettes that did that, but I do think that it is a very bold statement when it comes to anything to say always or never. And to say that they are never releasing a big eyeshadow palette again, I feel like you are creating a situation for yourself where you're almost digging yourself into a hole. Because yeah, a lot of people will say like, oh, eyeshadows are dead right now, but a lot of people are still wearing eyeshadow, and everything comes and goes in waves. There can be something that is super popular for 5, 6, 10 years and then not popular for a couple of years, and then it comes back. It's like listening to Gen Z saying that tight jeans are dead and they're never wearing it, and now 6 months later they're like, tight jeans are back again. It's the same with eyeshadow. It's gonna come back. So I'm wondering what kind of future Huda is seeing for her brand, where she's not releasing any more big palettes. Because I feel like most brands, even mainstream brands, do every now and then release palettes that are, you know, bigger than a quad, bigger than a quint. So I'm surprised to hear her say that. And I will say maybe one opt-out would be that maybe she's releasing 12 pans in the future, or 10 pans. But I would be very surprised if she were to never release a palette again ever, even in like, you know, you have to, ever is ever like ever it's a long time. So in 3 years, is she not going to want to release anything else than her small 9 pans? And also do remember, her small 9 pans and her bigger palettes are not made in the same factory, and they are, I can attest to you, not the same quality, which also leads me to believe that maybe she's dropping the 9 pans as well. But yeah, this is just me speculating. I would love to hear your thoughts about this. I am intrigued always to see a brand grow and change and want to go in maybe a slightly different direction, but saying never releasing a big eyeshadow palette again, to me that reads as just trying to do something for shock value to get people to buy this last palette, because I would be utterly shocked if Huda Beauty does not release another version of an eyeshadow palette for next holiday season. Maybe not this kind of a big palette, maybe something slightly smaller, but yeah, that would really shock me if 1 year from now we're not seeing some kind of an eyeshadow release from Huda Beauty that is not one of those mini 9-pan palettes. I might be wrong, but this is me giving some predictions on the matter. I did have a video about the Natasha Denona Roxa palette. That one came up on Wednesday. I did 2 different looks. I did some comparisons. I did some swatches. I think I'm gonna do something similar with this palette. Let me know if you are indeed interested in that. Just like maybe some comparisons, maybe some swatches. I'm gonna do 2 different eye looks. What palettes would you like me to compare this to? Myself, I'm thinking immediately the Natasha Denona ID Nude. If there's any other palettes that you think this resembles, let me know. If I have them, I'll do some comparisons. I'm open for suggestions, but yeah, I'm excited about that one. All the things that I'm going to be talking about today is going to be linked in the description box. I will also put up some YouTube shopping links when things are available, if they are available, if you are interested in these things. And those links and the codes that I have down below are affiliated, so if you do use them, I do earn a small commission. And if you do, thank you so much for supporting this channel. It really helps out. There is also a new collection from Colourpop. This looks super cute. I still have not filmed the Colourpop video that I said. Keeping up with it's easier to keep up with Colourpop in 2024 than it was like in 2020, 2021. That was wild to keep up with Colourpop at that point, but I still want to do something where I just go through the latest collections, swatch them, give you my thoughts about them. So I definitely will be doing that. I just haven't had time to film it yet, but I really do like Colourpop. I think it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, like affordable brands. I think they make good quality products in nice packagings with like somewhat interesting color stories. They don't just do neutrals or just do colorful things. They do a mix of everything, and I really do appreciate that. I also do have a code with Colourpop. If you use the code Angeshka at checkout, you will get 10% off at the website. That does not work on discounted products or stuff that is like discounted in bundles, but other than that, you can use that code and save some money. And this new one, I think this is their holiday collection. This is Frosty the Snowman, and I heard my friend Ali Dawson, should check out her channel as well. She was like, oh my god, I'm so excited about this. I really want to get it. And I will say, I think this is a very famous cartoon. Okay, don't come for me. I've never seen this cartoon. I think this might be like a very same as Rudolph. Remember when they did that collab with Rudolph? I felt the same. People were like, oh my god, this is nostalgic. I love Rudolph. And everyone outside of the US were just like, I have never heard about this Frosty the Snowman. I've heard about the song Frosty the Snowman, but I'm guessing this is a cartoon. This is a franchise. It says Warner Bros. Again, never seen it, never heard about it. I guess this is very popular in the US. Is it worth checking up, or is it just for the nostalgia? Is it like good, or is it good just because it makes you think about like your childhood and Christmas? Love to hear about that. There is a candy cane lip mask and scrub duo. I was so close to buying the Laneige lip balm that has candy cane, and I think I might get this one instead because I had a lip oil that I put on like every night before I go to bed, and I actually used it up. So now I kind of want to get the candy cane one instead. Again, I don't know if I'm getting sent this in PR or not. If I'm not getting sent this in PR, I will be purchasing, I'm thinking the Candy Cane Lip Mask and Lip Scrub, the palette, and I also really want to try the the highlighter duo. There is a Fastest Belly Whooper Super Shock Highlighter Duo. I guess that's a reference that I'm just not getting, but I really want to try that. If you didn't know, the Super Shock Highlighters is one of my absolute favorite highlighter formulas ever, but by far my most used one. So getting more shades is always a plus to me. And I also love that it's in the small packaging and not those big bulky ones. Thank you, Colourpop. Oh, this one should already be available, and it's apparently coming to Ulta and Target as well. Again, you can get 10% off if you're ordering from Colourpop, but it's very nice that it's being available at Ulta and Target as well. Makes it a little bit more accessible. I, again, have no idea about this theming, but everything looks really cute. And I love that it is like a cool tone, very blue leaning palette, because I love blues. Speaking of like more drugstore makeup, e.l.f. is releasing a Camo liquid bronzer and contour. I thought they had a liquid bronzer and contour? Maybe they didn't. Because I saw this and I'm like, oh, is it new shades? I had this like strange deja vu feeling seeing this. I'm like, wait, is this like new? I really had the sneaking suspicion. Or am I thinking about those squeezy tubes? Maybe I am. I didn't love that formula. I didn't think it was like amazing, and I especially did not love the packaging of it. I'm not really in the market for another bronzer at this point. I have so many bronzers that I really enjoy, and I really want to like use one up. I'm like, am I like turning into a panning queen? I'm not. Don't put the pen down. Do not write that down. But there is a bronzer that I'm like almost out of, and I kind of want to like use it up. So don't hold me to that. It comes in 10 different shades. It's $7. I feel like that's a very nice like drugstore price. Drugstore is definitely getting to be a little bit more expensive. It's getting to be like up there. So it's exciting to see that a brand like e.l.f. that's, according to me, most of the time doing high quality products is releasing something that's still only $7. They also released, and this is to me like so weird, but I'm also thinking I'm probably the wrong generation for this, but e.l.f. is doing a collab with Stanley. I don't own a Stanley cup. I don't know if that makes me like, oh, you can't sit with us, but I don't like carrying around something like this. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I have a lot of European viewers, at least when I moved from Europe, which was only 2.5 years ago, and I mean, I'm gonna move back, so we'll see what happens when I come back. I don't remember a culture where we were carrying a drink with us at all times. It was one of those things that I first noticed when I moved to the US, and not in a negative way, more in a Americans love to always have a drink with them at all times. So having a Stanley cup, having one of those hydro flasks. I have hydro flasks, but I use it mostly when we're like hiking. I think it's great. It really keeps the cool. Oh, I also use it by the pool because it really keeps my water cool. But having cup holders and everything, Americans love always having a drink at hand. And I never really noticed that culture in Europe. Like you sit down to have something to drink, or you take a break to go have some water. I never like had that always have a drink with me. I would love to hear your input about this. Do you feel like the American culture, because now that like Stanley Cups have become so popular and people are literally fighting each other in the Target like aisles to get the limited edition ones, do you feel like the culture is like spreading or bleeding into other parts of the world as well? Do you see more people carrying their drinks around in Europe? Because I haven't spent enough time in Europe these past years, because it's very expensive to fly over there, to know like, is this something that's like spreading? Because for me, I still do not carry my drink around, but I find it super fascinating how popular Stanley has become as of late. And they're doing, I think this is like, the lip glosses are limited edition shades that are meant for the Stanley collab. So it's Honey Talks, Red Delicious, and Coral Fixation. A gold, a pink, and a red. And it seems, okay, it says here, if I just kept reading, press the read more and actually read it. So it's the Stanley Stainless Steel H2O Flow State Quencher Tumbler. That is a mouthful. e.l.f. collab. These are 30 liquid ounces, 35, 40 liquid ounces for 45 new colors. Honey Talks, Yam Session, Red Delicious, and a Crystal Clear Night and Coral Fixation. So there's new colors, and it also has a little lip accessory organizer, snaps onto the handle of your Stanley quenchers, includes matching stickers. Have you seen those TikToks of people like decking their Stanleys out? I mean, and I say, if you didn't know, I'm gonna say this to you just so we're both on the same page. All of those videos are either rage bait, like they're hoping to get your comment, or they're just staged. They're not leaving the house with a Stanley with a big tray with like snacks for a walk. They're not. Who's walking around with that, eating pretzels while they're taking a walk? They're not doing that, okay? It is rage bait. It is made to be a good TikTok. That's why they made this, to make a good TikTok, not to actually take the walk, not to actually go to dance class, not to actually sit and watch a movie. They did that for the TikTok, for the gram, which we used to say, but now it's for TikTok instead. But have you seen those videos? People are like snapping their entire life to it, like the tumbler. And I'm just like, I feel like, you know, I feel so old when I see that because I'm like, well, back in my day, we just put that in our purse. Are we not doing purses anymore? Are we not doing purses anymore? Because I love a good purse. I love putting like all of those things, you know, the hand sanitizers and the lip glosses and the coin purses and all these things that they're like sticking to their tumbler and just waving something that must be weighing a ton around. Are people doing that? But also like, why are we not putting that in our purse? Are we not doing purses anymore? Again, I'm showing my age as an elder millennial, but I'm like, a purse is out. Not even asking for a friend, like I'm asking for me. But yeah, if you're interested in Stanley's, if you love e.l.f, I think that like for Gen Z, maybe younger Gen Z and Gen Alpha, this will be super cool. For me, I'm not getting it. I'm not this like I'm not buying it because I'm also not buying it, but I'm also not like getting it. Let's just move on. Ooh, there is a mystery box coming from Cosmic Brushes. Okay, Cosmic Brushes, I love the brand. Last year, their palette was my best palette of the year. Absolutely love. I love the brand. I love their concepts. I love the quality. I love everything that they do. I just think that this is one of my best like found brands as of late. I've been absolutely loving them. And they are doing a sinister mystery box and they got a little bit delayed in shipping. So they're doing a pre-order for the mystery boxes, and this is a mystery box with new items. So these are not like a mystery, you know, when brands just want to clear the aisles, they're like just putting stuff that nobody wanted to buy in a mystery box, looking at you, Colourpop, and just calling it a mystery box. This is new items put in a mystery box, and I don't know if she's gonna sell them outside of the mystery box in the future, but for right now they're only available in this mystery box. The pre-order is going to be today on Friday, and it's going to be 60 British sterling pounds. I don't know exactly what that's going to be in dollars, but maybe 70 or something. You can use a discount code and get some money off, and there are 7 exclusive full-sized products, including a 20-pan palette. And this says that it's limited edition, and the general sale, which is like not the pre-sale, it's coming towards the end of November, like when the shipment is coming in. Again, it was a little bit delayed. And she does say here, please note the palette inside this mystery box was designed with creatives in mind. Bold colors and textures, perfect for creating editorial inspired looks. And I think this is just her saying, if you only love minimal makeup, no makeup, or neutral makeup, and if you don't like experimenting with bold looks or colors, this might not be for you. And I very much appreciate her saying that, just being like, don't buy this if you don't love more dramatic makeup, because you might not love what's in the box. I think that is so smart, so cool, and I am very excited. She did tell me that as soon as she gets it, because again, she's doing a pre-order because the shipment has been delayed, she will send it to me and I will unbox it and I will let you know everything that's in here. I am very, very excited to try this one out. But if you want to take your chances and order a mystery box that's, I'm gonna guess, gonna be great quality, because that is what Cosmic Brushes does, it's releasing today. But if it sells out today, just know that more stock is coming in later November. While we're still on the topic of Cosmic Brushes, they also are doing a restock of a bunch of different palettes, and I wanted to let you know about that as well, because again, they were having some shipping delay. Listen, I've been having some shipping delays. I was supposed to launch something with Cinch Beauty now. Do you see it being launched? No. I don't even know at this point if I can launch this year, but just know I did have plans. I did have plans. So they are going to restock, and that is happening today. They are restocking Gothic, Muse, Serenity, Winter Wonderland, and Nude Trolls. So you're going to be able to pick up a bunch of these favorites together with the mystery box if you want to. And again, you can use a discount code and you'll get some money off. I know a bunch of you were waiting for restock of this palette, and I know also a bunch of you have been telling me that you wanted to wait until you can get more than one palette at a go. So this is your chance. A bunch of these things are going to be in stock at the same time. And I will also say, full transparency, I never say like, oh my god, run, don't walk, because we don't need any of this. It's just fun. It is just fun. Nobody buy anything with money you cannot afford to spare. But Cosmic Brushes do have a tendency of selling out. So if you knew that you wanted any of these things, I would say purchase it rather sooner than later, because otherwise they might not be able to restock it until next year. So I'm just letting you know about that just up front. this is one of those brands that you might not serve you right to wait until like a later time if you really know what you want. Again, nobody needs to buy anything. I will never tell you that you need anything or that you should run and buy something. I'm just letting you know from personal experience which brands tend to sell out quickly versus which brands don't. Another indie brand that is launching something is Unearthly Cosmetics, and they are launching the Paranormal Plush Cream Blushes. These are $16 each, and I have them here. I see them over here. I haven't tried them yet, so I have no opinions on them. But this is basically something that they're almost having like a concept store. They're trying some things out. So if you wanted to be part of trying out this formula, they are available now in 3 different shades on the website. You can use the code and get some money off. These 3 shades are like a lighter shade, a pinky shade, a red, more deeper reddish shade. I'm very excited to try these out. They're supposed to be a cream to powder formula, which is something that I really, really love. And it's just a way to get some feedback like, is this a formula you like? Should I be bringing this out in like even more colors? And I think that makes perfect sense. That's what I did with my blushes too. I launched it in 4 different shades, just seeing like, do you even like this? Do you want to see more colors? Because doing makeup, it's expensive. So I think that this is super fun and I cannot wait to try these. My goal is to try them out tomorrow. We had a collection or a collaboration between Profusion and Peanuts for Halloween, and they're doing another collab for Christmas. So this is Profusion's holiday collection, and it is again with Peanuts. So it is just a bunch of different themed things. It's gonna be, is this like a gift box? Oh, it's an advent calendar. Oh, that is fun. Okay, so there's an advent calendar, 41 shade eye and face palette. What on earth is that? That has to be a big one, right? Oh, I'm showing you here, but dang. Okay, that one, I don't think you need that. As a friend, I don't think you need that. Although I will say this would make a perfect gift to someone like, you know, someone who wants to get into makeup. Maybe they're like 12, 13, 14. They want to get into makeup. This would be great. But also I feel like teens nowadays are just skipping their awkward phase and they're straight into like Instagram snatched. But I do think that this would be good for a beginner. But other than that, these like all-in-one big palettes, not for me. Not my journey. But there's a bunch of different things in here. A bunch of different kits and sets and gift sets. And again, perfect gift, especially if you want to buy something fun for the holiday that's not as expensive. I think you can usually find these at Walmart. That's where I find the Profusion that I've seen, but it's not going to be perfect for me, but I totally understand who it's for. This is something that I've already tried, and it's going to be in that upcoming several indie palette, several looks. I keep saying several and not 4 because it might be more than 4 looks. Okay, don't hold me to that, but there might be more than 4 looks because I have so many palettes I want to get to, and I also know that I'm not ready to post the video yet. But Nutty by Nature by Ensley, this one is launching, oh, it's also launching today. So this is a 6-pan palette, and the mattes in this palette are so nice. It is almost my perfect companion palette. So it has 4 mattes, it has 2 brown mattes and 2 yellow mattes. You know how I feel about brown and yellow? I absolutely love it. And then there are 2 multi-chrome shimmers in here. And I will say, personal opinion, I love the quality of them, but I don't love the color of them. I wish they would have picked other shimmers for this palette, because even though I think the shimmers are great, I don't think that they perfectly encompass either the feeling that the mattes give or the theming of Nutty by Nature. That is just my personal opinion. I am going to be saying that in the video where I use the palette as well. The quality is amazing, but I think for me, when I travel, I can see myself popping those 2 shimmers out and putting 2 other Ensley range shimmers in there that I feel embody the vision that I had of this palette in my head. I hope that this makes sense. Let's finally dig into, literally dig into the Patrick Ta eyeshadow duos. Did talk about these last week and I was like, oh my god, they look so cute, I want to try them. And then everybody was hit like with that like price tag of $42, and I feel like everyone like, ugh! You know, you got hiccups. You're like, $42. Back in my day, we used to get a full palette for that. $42 for a eyeshadow duo. That is some wild pricing. With that being said, Patrick Ta has never been an affordable brand, and I shouldn't be too surprised by it, but I also feel like, what is the price of the blushes? Because I feel like An eyeshadow duo should not be the same price, or at least almost, as the blushes. Blushes are $38. Wait, you're telling me okay, you're telling me the blushes are less? That can't be right. So the eyeshadow duos are more than a blush duo. Usually when you buy a single shadow, you always pay more for the single because there's like a startup cost with every product. Starting up a product with the packaging and the production cost and the shipping and the design and yada yada, the list is long. That chunk is bigger than people think. So creating a single can be not much more affordable than creating a full palette, let's say. That's why you see some of these like singles with like the Urban Decay Space, whatever, the cowboy, you know what I mean. Those are like $24 each. Oh my god, I'm warm. Can I do this? Have I been cute long enough? Okay, I've been cute long enough. I think they're like $24, $25. It's because the startup cost is it's a little chunky. With that being said, you might think like, oh, but one shadow is 24, then getting two for 42 is... Remember, a big chunk of that 24... Again, I might be talking out of my ass here. Let me hold. There are 24. Oh my gosh, somebody give me a medal. So the Moonless Shadows by Urban Decay is 24. Remember, a big chunk of those 24 is that startup cost that I'm talking about. I would say that out of the cost of producing a product, usually more than half is like actually the product, the packaging and the actual makeup. And doing a small packaging versus doing a big packaging, it's usually not that big of a difference in cost, which is why sometimes a single shadow can be so expensive compared to like a full palette. It is what it is. What are we gonna do about that? But the thing is that like when you make then a duo instead of a single, the added cost of putting a second shadow in there really isn't double the cost. It really shouldn't be that. So honestly, according to me, I thought the shadows were gonna be $32. That's what I thought. I thought that would make sense. It would make sense for Patrick Ta's price tag. It would make sense for getting two shadows instead of one, and the startup cost of actually like doing the actual product. 32 would have made sense. 42 doesn't really make sense. Because again, the component for the blushes with two colors in there, how is that 30, what was it, 8? If the component for the eyeshadow is 42. Yes, doing sparkly eyeshadows is more expensive than doing a blush. But they're not multichrome. They're not holographic. I'm sure they are that special sparkly shade that a lot of indie brands put in there, and it costs a little bit more, but I am side-eyeing that $42 price tag. If you were looking for single shadows that are sparkly neutrals, there are indie brands that have that. Cleonut has that. Glamnatrix has a full collection of that if you're interested. DD Signature also has a full collection of that if you're interested. There are brands out there that do those special sparkly shades in neutrals if you were looking for that, for less than $42 for a duo. I mean, yeah, you won't get the component, you won't get that luxurious like, oh, I have a Patrick Ta thing, but I will say 42 is, it was like, my eye twitched a bit. It was like, my eye twitched. With that being said, I do really want to try one of these out because I want to see what kind of a formula is this then. What are we getting? Are they starting mainstream to tap into that super sparkly metallic eyeshadows that indie brands already have? Is that what we're getting with this? Because that's what I think I'm gonna get. And I do have, at least from DD Signature, I do have those singles. I can compare and be like, so where are we at with this formula? And also I have a bunch of like Ensley Rain and a bunch of like Bella Beauty Bar, like those super sparkly metallics. They are not duochromes, they're not multichromes, they're not holographic, but they're very special metallics. I want to see like where are we at with this formula and like what can we compare it to. So I think I'm going to take one for the team. With that being said, 42, it's actually highway robbery, and I'm a little bit confused, mystified by this price tag. What did you think when you heard 42? Because I got like yeah, eye twitch, hiccup, like my eyes were like, what do you mean 42? The Trick or Treat and Glamlight collection has officially launched as well. Again, you can use my code and get 15% off at the Glamlight website. I think this looks really cute. I have not gotten any of the past releases from Glamlight in PR, and I did buy the Coca-Cola myself, and I haven't bought any of the Halloween ones yet, because I will say, they're gonna have a Black Friday sale, so I think I'm just gonna be purchasing from the Black Friday sale, because if I know, I know that's upcoming. I know the sale is upcoming. I might as well buy from that, and hopefully nothing will be sold out. We'll see. But I do think that this one looks really pretty, and it is orange themed. So there is a eyeshadow palette that has some oranges in here. There is also an orange, I think, lip gloss in here, which I'm very excited about. And there is a candle as well. And I think the candle is the Trick or Treat candle. I don't know what that one smells like, but I had a candle from Glamlight before and I really liked it. It had a nice throw. It smelled really nice. It almost smelled like a cherry candy, and I liked it. So I might get the candle as well. Again, I don't know if I'm getting this in PR later or not, but I will definitely be picking some of these things up myself. Also with that collection that they launched, was that the Halloween or the Halloween 2? I will also be picking up some stuff from that one, but I will do that all together because I don't know if they're releasing more things for Halloween. They might be. I'm not 100% sure. They seem to be on a roll, and Giselle, the owner of Glamlight, did say that they were going to have back-to-back releases for this upcoming season. So I'm just going to wait and see because I definitely want to try it. I'm just not 100% sure, like, what do I want to try? And am I going to, like, order all of it together? Probably. Lisa Eldridge is releasing new lipsticks, and these are refillable lipsticks, which I think is pretty cool. So this is the Rouge Experience Refillable Lipsticks. It is a luxurious, lightweight cream refillable lipsticks that glides on comfortably with a soft, subtle, luminous sheen and a lip smoothing blur. That sounds really nice. It comes in 8 different shades, right? 8 different shades. And they seem really nice. I kind of want to try one on, because I think that Lisa Eldridge, the lipstick formula from that brand is really good. I've really been enjoying all the lip formulas. I haven't tried the eyeshadow, and personally, I think the face tint was good, but too glowy for my personal liking. It didn't really hold up great on me, but also I have oily combo skin and I live in a humid climate. So for me, it turned a little bit too glowy, a little bit too fast, but the lip colors are always really nice. So I might pick one of these up, you know, for science. Pixi is having a 25th anniversary and they are releasing a oldie but a goodie. This is their liquid sparkly shadow and they are releasing it in 6 new limited edition shades. This is a great formula and I am so excited to see them release some more colors. There's like a blue, a red, a purple, and one that seems like an olive green. This seems very interesting. I kind of want to see how these are like in real life. I want to see if they look as sparkly in the tubes as the originals were, because the original formula of this was incredibly sparkly, so beautiful on the eyes. It looked like glitter without being glitter. So this isn't a liquid glitter, but it almost looks like it on the eyes. It's a very, very pretty formula. And I'm excited to see like this many years later, it's like 6 years, 7, 8 years later, they're releasing more colors. I'm like, yay, let's go for that. But that's again also where I'm like, is it the same formula then? Because it's been so many years. But I'm excited to see it. There's also a new blush formula coming from Yves Saint Laurent. So this is the YSL Make Me Blush Powder. The compact is very similar to, they had a foundation in a compact like this, and they also had bronzers, but it was like a square compact. I think the blushes are really cute. This is supposed to be a healthy glow to the cheeks. So I'm wondering if this is going to be similar to the formula that I have with Singe, which is that it looks matte in the pan, but there's a sheen on the cheeks, but it's not like metallic or glittery or sparkly. It's one of those where I'm like, I'm not going to purchase it, but I could definitely see myself swatching it in store because it is pretty expensive. I mean, I don't know the price, but it's Yves Saint Laurent. It's going to be expensive. There's no avoiding it, but I think it looks cute though. I'll swatch it for sure. I don't always talk about fragrances, but when I see fragrances, either from brands that I really love or something that sounds like, oh, I would love this, I want to talk to you about it. And this is a new one from Mancera. This is the Fig Me Up. And this one is, I think it's already available. If I can find it, I will link it down below. The notes are fig leaf, rhubarb, violet, fig milk. These are things that I love. There are some Australian oud in here, and I'm hoping it's just a little tint of it, like a little, like I can do a little sprinkle, but I definitely don't want a lot of oud. Sandalwood, candied plum, bourbon, bourbon geranium, hot toffee, tonka bean, tobacco, and white musk. This is like, you know, when artists releases like a best of, this is like a best of notes. The notes sound delicious, but there are also some things in here like white musk and oud where I'm like, if those take over, I'm out. So I will be smelling this one in a department store and I will see how I feel about it, because it sounds absolutely delightful. This sounds like it's gonna be a creamy, boozy, green fig rhubarb unisex scent. I might be wrong. But that's what I'm like just looking at it. But I will report back. If I like it, I'll buy it, because it does sound like really interesting, and this might be the time where I actually try this brand. There's also Tarte never gives up. Tarte just will not let this one die. They are going on and on about the click sticks, and now they're releasing new ones. And at this point, I don't even know if this is a new formula or if this is just new shades in existing formula. I don't know. I don't even know if they know anymore. It is what it is. But there are Maracuja Juicy Lip Balm Gloss, the Maracuja Juicy Lip Plump. Those are not new. Okay. Maybe they're new shades. And then there is the Maracuja Juicy Plumping Lip Oil. I think these might just all be new shades. Who knows at this point? Who knows? I will not be purchasing these. I can't. I'm tapped out on the clicky things. I've realized that I honestly just either prefer a balm that stays together or a doe foot. Maybe I'm simple, maybe I'm basic, but at the end of the day, I do prefer that. I can't lie. So yeah, there are more shades. Tarte is just like, let's milk this until it is bone dry. And lastly, let's talk about the article that I read about ABH. And it is from Business Finance. I will link it down below. And it says how Anastasia Beverly Hills lost its footing. And I think that this is a very interesting article, because we can always speculate what brands are doing good, what brands are doing bad, what brands are doing so-so, like legacy brands that just will never disappear. And then all of a sudden, some brands just poof, from what we think is like from nowhere, just close the doors, like Becca. Who thought that Becca was disappearing? Not me. But it really did open up the discussion of like, how are brands really doing? And I thought this article was really interesting. Like I said, I will leave it down below. But the like basis of this is basically the influencer favorite brands seemed on rocket-like trajectory in the 2010s, culminating in a reported $3 billion valuation in 2018. 3 billion. But trends have shifted, sales have slid, debt has mounted, and its main investor, the private equity firm TPG Capital, wants out. They want to move on, they no longer want in. And of course, this doesn't tell us the whole story of like what's going on with ABH or anything like that. But I think we could all smell it in the air. ABH was not doing as good as they were in the heydays of the beauty guru era, which was like 2016, 17, 18. Their launches have been good, but not hyped nearly as much as they used to be. It's not one of those brands that people lean on as much. And I can also tell just from a creator perspective, it's not one of those brands that gets the most views, the most requests, or the most comments. It's one of those brands, they're just kind of swimming along. And I don't necessarily think that they're doing bad, but I do think that they're doing nowhere as near as good as they did. And I think sometimes, you know, investors, they might not always understand the ebbs and flows of like the industry that they're like investing into. They might have seen the dollar signs of ABH because again, they got some investors, they were valued at 3 billion, and they might think that just as capitalism has taught us how this is how the world works, that it's always an upward slope, but that's not always how it is in the beauty community. Some brands have ups, they have downs, they come back. Some brands have a high and then never reach up to that high again, even though they might still be doing fine. They might still be making great money, but according to the investors, they're not making as much as they were hoping they would, because they keep looking at that price tag that they bought in on, thinking that it's always going to go up. But that's just not always how it works. And you probably have some brands that have had ebbs and flows. Sometimes you hear a lot about them, sometimes you hear nothing, and then they come back. And some brands that used to be super hyped, but are no longer super hyped, but they're still here. They're still chugging along. They're not going bankrupt. And I think that this is an interesting thing to look at. And I wonder how stuff like this, because I think there's going to be a lot of investors like this that invested in really hyped up brands in the 2016, 17, 18s, 19s, where beauty community was just skyrocketing. And now they're looking back and they're like, this didn't really go as we thought it was going to go. Maybe they want out, and I want to see like what kind of results will this have on the industry as a whole. And again, this is just me speculating. There's a difference between me knowing something and between me speculating or making somewhat qualified guesses, basically. But I would love to hear your thoughts about this down below. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you're gonna have a great weekend. I'm hoping I'm gonna have a great weekend. I'm actually going to a costume birthday party themed around sports and like the Olympics. It's very specific. If you follow me on Instagram, I will show you my costume there. And I also am back to posting on my second channel. I've posted one vlog already. I'm gonna post another vlog hopefully this weekend. And I'm already in the process of filming some bookish content. So if you're interested in like book content, there's gonna be more of that on my second channel. I'm in the process of filming it, so hopefully I will have at least the first one up next week. So thank you again so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Thank you again so much Factor for sponsoring this video. I am a big Factor fan. I actually have been drinking a smoothie as we've been filming. This is the tropical citrus smoothie. It's been very delicious. Don't forget to check out Factor as well, and thank you so much for supporting the brands that are supporting this channel. It really does mean a lot, and I will see you again real soon for a new video. Bye.